So translating noun clusters from English into Ukrainian. I'll give the definition first. So generally, it is really characteristic of present English, which abounds in these type of clusters, and they are characteristic of official documents and scientific texts. So something that we are dealing with now. Sometimes you can find them in newspapers, which are smart newspapers, not yellow press, but mostly in these two types of texts. So what are they? Noun clusters are word groups consisting of 2, 3, or more nouns and functionally equivalent to word groups like, for example, young production figures, the House of Commons debate, mother and child care, New Deal and Great Society programs. Usually, they have a certain structure, and I have already mentioned it. And irrespective of the number of components in these clusters or their structure, they're always in subordinate relation to each other. We'll have a look how it works, and there are several subordinate groups within one big group sometimes. Usually they consist of some attributive component or adjunct or adjuncts and a head word or nucleus. So the former, the attributive component, occupies usually the left-hand position, and the latter, the head word, comes in the end. So I already mentioned that while we were discussing some translations, and now we'll pay more attention to this. Here are some examples. The noun clusters, these word groups, are divided by an arrow to point to the nucleus, to the head word. Yarn production. If you don't remember, yarn is the knitting threads, so something you knit with. Production is the head word. The House of Commons debate. Debate is the head word, is the main word of this, and all the rest are subordinate to it and modified. Mother and child care. Here the care is in the final position, and it is the head word. Now, cotton yarn production. Yarn Deal and Great Society programs. Programs is the head word, though the society and everything is more they have more words, and if programs were not there, society would be the head word. Both the attributive part and the adjunct, and the head word, they may contain more than one word, so they have different structures. In many noun clusters, the head components may have a compound noun or a word group structure. For example, Sahara oil wells, where oil well is the head word. US Open tennis champions. So here champions is the head word, but Open tennis belongs to champions, not to US. And it makes things a bit more complicated. And many asyndetic noun clusters have often extended adjuncts and extended and expanded heads, as in the following examples. Upper-class shipbuilders, shop stewards. This is all one word group. Shop stewards, head word with the head component expressed by the word combination. And upper-class shipbuilders is the attributive part expressed by another word combination. Noise Advisory Council Working Group Representative. So if we look at this one, Working Group Representative is the head component but it consists of the head word within it, which is representative. Working group is the other words that modify the head word of this part. And all these word combination is a head component of the 6-word noun cluster: noise advisory council, working group, representative. So first of all, we need to single out the whole thing in the text. Then we must understand what's the head word. And then we can see that the whole cluster consists of 2 word combinations. And if we divide them correctly into the attributive component and the head component, then we are able to understand that we're talking about the представник робочої групи ради з питань зниження шумів. If it could start with the UK Parliament, the UK Parliament Noise Advisory Council Working Group Representative. So in this case, we add in the end британського парламенту. So we will look at these multi-word noun clusters in the end, but here are just the examples of extended head components and extended attributive components. There are various approaches to rendering the lexical meaning of the asynthetic noun clusters, and they may be determined by different factors. First of all, it is the number of words of nouns making up the cluster. It usually gives us a hint how to translate the whole thing, because to make it understandable, we must use both adjectives formed from the nouns with the same root. We need to use post modifiers, I mean, to put some others after the head word, but changing the case into genitive, and so on and so forth. If we've got just 2 words, then our actions are limited. We'll look at it a bit later when we study the examples. Next factor is the structure of the adjunct and the head. So both of these components. If we have just 1 word for both, for each of them, it's one approach. If we've got 7 nouns and half of them make the attributive part, and half of them make up the head word, head component, that the whole structure may be changed. The main rule that we should stick to is that head word is almost always can go in the first position in Ukrainian, and it is almost always comes in the end in English. So we need to turn the whole phrase upside down. So the third factor is the semantic relations between the constituent parts of the noun cluster, which may be local, temporal, or others by nature.